Price. And
on the other end,
Jordan Baczynski played the first 49 games of the season and then sat out the season finale for Westchester on Saturday as the Knicks played 4 games in the final 6 days of the year. Jimmer Fredette's layup rolls off the rim. He's after the offensive rebound and a reset for the Knicks.
And that move, or attempted one off the dribble, part of Jimmer's game that goes overlooked.
Off the penetration from Antetokounmpo, it is Keith Wright who opens up the scoring for the Knicks.
Keith Wright, one of those
run for the Knicks and puts the Skyforce on the board.
And I think by getting off to the strong start, Westchester's sending a message that their 3-1 mark against Sioux Falls, no fluke.
We tried quite a bit, Joey, to extrapolate what the reasons were for the Knicks' success against Sioux Falls, and head coach Mike Miller wouldn't give.
But one reason for that is Antetokounmpo hits again off to the good start for a 10-2 Nick lead.
The Liggins catch and shoot for 3.
DeAndre Liggins, the 5th leading three-point shooter in the D-League at 43%. You mentioned Coach Miller winning Coach of the Month 1 month. Dan Craig of Sioux Falls has won it 3 times.
Knicks doubling up Sioux Falls early in the first quarter. Keith Wright against a smaller defender gets to the rim for 2.
And Keith Wright, normally not known for his scoring, only averaging about these. They have a number of weapons, including this man, Boo Boo Paolo, who averages 11 a game, and he tries to complete the 3-point play, cannot.
Paolo, the only player for the Skyforce to play all 50 games. Trice finds the big man Baczynski, rushed the layup. Transition the other way. Magruder stripped by
on an amazing championship game win, and I could, I think, be a future NBA point guard.
7 minutes to go in the first. Knicks began on an 8-0 run. They maintain a 3-point lead. Five to shoot.
Stokes on a switch against Trice.
Rashad James just checking into the game, launches one from the outside. It's a shot clock violation.
Metropolitan area, just north of New York City. Averaging about 15 a game off the bench. Stokes with position.
Maneuvers underneath the basket and takes Baczynski one-on-one for 2.
Good footwork to get around the 7'2" Jordan Baczynski.
Inside Baczynski, he was swarmed and lost the ball. Magruder pushing against Fredette, high off the glass, and another.
For Sioux Falls. Easy right there for the former Georgetown star, Jabril Trump.
On Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Both teams shooting it well so far, David. 6 of 10 for Westchester, 7 of 10 for Sioux Falls.
Knicks started by scoring the first 8 points of the contest. Sioux Falls has come storming back as the defense is tightened. Liggins is able to clear the Darion.
Baczynski had to come out to respect the perimeter ability of Stokes, left the paint open, and no help underneath on the drive for Sioux Falls.
5 minutes to go in the first. James on the skip pass, takes a rhythm dribble and misses the 3. Boo Boo Paolo wants to run, but the Knicks
with the assist. Just like that, Sioux Falls suddenly up by 8. You see Jordan Crawford right there, number 1 of the game for Westchester, only 5'6", but he can really play.
22-6 run for the Skyforce. Baczynski lunges in and left it short. Now it's Stokes, the big man, leading the break for the one-handed hammer.
Yeah, who's never shy about a quickie timeout if he doesn't.
Big reason why Sioux Falls is on a 17-0 run in the last 3+ minutes.
Of course, the question for a guy like Mr. Stokes at the next level is, what is he in the NBA? Kind of a tweener so far. What position does he play?
Came out in the 2014 draft. We mentioned the defensive prowess.
Nearly 18 turnovers a game that they force, as you mentioned, as a result.
Stokes off target, rebound by Fredette. His head is up. Penetrates inside, hangs with the left hand. It's off the iron and controlled by Antetokounmpo.
Well, Fredette's had a couple of pretty drives off penetration, but has not been able to finish them. James has to run it down, and so far we're not seeing that crispness offensively, and there, yet another example, yet another Westchester turn.
A presence for...
Got 7, and suddenly the Knicks are down 14 against a team that is the stingiest in the league defensively. As we've discussed, this not the position they want to be in, even this early.
30-8 run. Fredette scored 37 points against Sioux Falls in one of the 4 meetings. He's having trouble getting off a clean look here in the playoffs.
Forced by Jimmer that time. Ill-advised shot. And I'm surprised.
Stokes gets the friendly roll off the iron.
And does it against the 7-2 Baczynski despite the big height differential. After 2 NBA stints, as we said earlier this year, now for Stokes, it's all about the postseason here in the D-League, trying to lead Sioux Falls to a title. Santa Cruz, the defending champion in the D-League, they have not even made the playoffs this year.
Same can be said for the 2-time Eastern Conference champs, the Mad Ants of Fort Wayne. So we
goes to the bucket. Isn't that how some NFL coaches have gotten started, working for free, breaking down the video?
It's all about cutting tape. Just make sure the good stuff isn't on the editing room floor, right?
Of course, fortunately now, there's not a lot of actual cutting since it's done on computer.
Fredette weaving through the defense.
And does not have much support.
Paulo against Fredette. Good angle off the window.
And we've now seen 9 different players score for Sioux Falls, and so that's the versatility, the depth that we've talked about.
Trice on the move. Good find to Baczynski.
It was clear what Jordan was going to, Dave. I mean, we're concerned, of course, mainly with his coaching ability, but he is.
Although I think he's been kind to you throughout the season with halftime interviews, no?
Oh.
Stokes with the left hand.
None better. None better.
The lead back to 12 after Westchester cut it to 10. Trice maneuvering his way on the baseline, and it's collected by Trawick. Stokes, baseline. Stokes, baseline. Continuation for a chance at 3.
It was the New York Knicks, and you got to look there for a moment at some of the New York Knicks players who are in attendance. Clay Anthony Early, who recently spent some time here in Westchester. Kylo Quinn, as Antetokounmpo is fouled, so he will go to the line. And I think it points WNBA legend, of course, with the Liberty. And, you know, these guys.
Ski offensive foul as the wet
out of his face, but look at me, huh? Big alarmist, trying to be dramatic.
Safety first.
Fortunately, no blood.
Under 2 minutes to go. Trice driving on Paulo, defended well. Sioux Falls on the run out. 3-on-1. Stokes with the
have a whistle is the official.
Time Hassan Whiteside on autism awareness, and we'll get an in-depth look at Knicks guard Jimmer Fredette, all access.
Of course, no greater poster boy in recent years for going from the D-League to starring in the NBA than the Heat's Hassan Whiteside.
Baczynski on the follow.
And close to a goaltend, but Baczynski able to get it to go, move Westchester to within 13. Offensively for Westchester, really more than a someone. Need to be more of a team effort.
Trawick against Antetokounmpo. It's out of bounds to the Knicks. And on the prior possession,
will need to do the job other than Fredette. Westchester's got some people who can, they just haven't.
Antetokounmpo straight to the rim. 13-point game, shot clock off.
7 a game, and we have a whistle. Westchester can score at least 2 here and cut it to 9.5. That wouldn't be completely awful.
Trice stepping back with 2 seconds to go. Rebound cleared by Trawick, and we are at halftime. It's a 13-point lead for Sioux Falls at the break in game 1. 13-point lead for Sioux Falls at the break in game one.
And Baczynski, you can hopefully make Mr. Stokes work harder. Maybe he gets a little winded and stops killing them in the paint on the offensive end.
Teams change ends to start the third quarter. 13-point advantage for Sioux Falls. The miss rebounded by DeAndre Liggins.
Jimmer Fredette is Thanasis Antetokounmpo, also with 3.
Antetokounmpo, a rebound in traffic. Fredette picked up his third foul late in the first half. Should be good to go here in the second. Trice around the screen, gets into the paint. The finger roll is through.
And Westchester can certainly use more of that. Trice was quiet in the opening half. And that is no freakier than that man Stokes, who continues to burn Westchester. Of course, we're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, the star for the Milwaukee Bucks. Believe it or not, he's the younger brother of Thanasis, who we're watching here.
Offensive rebound right. On the reset to Trice, it was deflected to a wide open Keith Wright, lays it in.
And I would be surprised if Westchester doesn't make at least one run to make the game, David. All year we've seen with this Knick team that they are rarely out of one.
Over Fredette, Paulo with the miss. A chance to cut it to single figures. Trice on the move. Bitchin. 2 minutes gone by, second half. Game. Stokes, top 10 in the league in scoring and rebounding, nearly averaging a double-double with over 20 points per game and nearly 10 rebounds a contest. He pushes the advantage back to 14 by completing the three-point play. The lob is too strong, good backside defense. Here comes Stokes, acting as a point forward across the timeline.
Yeah, Trowick able to get his hands on it, now on the offensive end.
Here comes Stokes, acting as a point forward across the timeline.
Yeah, Trowick able to get his hands on it, now on the offensive end.
Gets into the paint, but traveled.
And you know, you mentioned the numero uno in this league. Has not really done it off the backboards, but just keeps scoring at will.
Trice splits the D. Got held there by...
We mentioned earlier, Dave, what do some of these players do when they're not in the...
3, looks back, Fredette. Too strong on a 3, and a battle for the rebound down to Stokes. The other way, Magruder, Euro step in the paint. His layup short. Trice surveys his options. He lobs it, Baczynski, off glass.
And that's one of the things that I like about Baczynski. He hasn't always done it tonight, David, but usually when those big hands get on the basketball in good position, he's able to. Rounds have been good here. If Westchester gets close, they'll be into it.
Over the shoulder pass to Magruder, beautiful cut to the rim.
And DeAndre Liggins with the feed. So Liggins coming up with his 7 assists. That's his season average, number 4 in the league.
7:50 to go, third quarter. Fredette using the screen, low dribble. High teardrop is through.
And anybody that says Jimmer is just a shooter, well, you saw evidence to the contrary there.
Live as Stokes splits a pair.
And here is 5'6" Jordan Crawford back into the ballgame, wearing number 1 for Westchester, and he is often a spark plug off the bench, can lead a comeback in a hurry.
Also joined by Darion Atkins off the bench.
Here's Stokes on Jimmer, interesting matchup.
Fredette backpedals, goes into the lane, awkward shot. It's cleared by Stokes, who played the defense. 12-point lead, 7 minutes, carries it.
And so again, a 15-point bulge for Sioux Falls, and perhaps Stokes guarding Jimmer was Stokes hearing what I said, wondering what he is in the NBA. Maybe he's trying to show he can play in the backcourt and guard it too.
Atkins trapped on the baseline.
Defense very good here for Sioux Falls.
Crawford left open. He lines up a 3.
Well, they kept swinging it and found the open man, and Crawford can hit from deep on occasion, moving west.
Falls outscored 8-0 to start the game. They took a 17-point lead later on in the first quarter. And Trowick gets all the way to the rim for Sioux Falls.
Trowick's been effective today, 11 points, but efficient, 4 of 5 shooting.
Crawford fearless on the baseline. It was to 19 and heading into year 3. 3 more teams to be added, up to 20 to go. The lob inside, Magruder just out-muscling everyone, and the lead balloons to 16.
Sioux Falls continues to set up shop far too easily, especially in the paint. Westchester just not able to get stops. It is just that simple.
Rashad James is checked in. Westchester going to a small ball look. On the bounce, Keith Wright, offensive foul of the restricted arc.
Yep, good call, and the officials are right.
And presence in a league that is known for its organized chaos with players coming and going throughout the season. Trawick, a consistent member of the roster for all 50 games, and his improvement in this development league has been noticeable. Antetokounmpo driving in, scores on the wiener.
Antetokounmpo, a guy who's been in New York Knick camp each of the last couple of years.
Stokes, like the matchup against Atkins in the first half, but he kicks it out to Paulo, and here come the Knicks.
Yeah, Baczynski out, so Westchester going with a much smaller lineup here.
Pull-up 3. Fredette liked it as he started to run back the other way. He follows it up with a 2 off the iron, and Magruder rips away the rebound.
Schimmer with opportunities, could not take advantage.
Magruder, he follows it up with a 2 off the iron, and Magruder rips away the rebound.
Schimmer with opportunities, could not take advantage.
Magruder in the paint, goes to the offhand. Tough rebound by Atkins with under 4 minutes to go. Third quarter. Crawford.
Jordan Crawford, who had a solid career at Bowling Green, playing for the... As hitting on the shot here is Whittington, who we haven't heard from for a while, and it's Sioux Falls by 14. But the defenders, despite their name, perhaps more of a misnomer, they're 5th in the league in scoring, and they have Vander Blue, the former Marquette star, #1 in the league individually, at 26 per game. Something in the air out west.
Crawford elevating to the rim. And what's interesting about the playoffs this season, 3 return comers in the West.
Wide open.
Whittington off target. Antetokounmpo grabs the board. Under 3 minutes to go in the third. These teams separated by a dozen.
And I'll tell you, Westchester's still within reach despite the subpar play.
Atkins facing up against Stokes. Briante Weber in here in the third quarter.
Man advantage.
30s, transitioning to a front office position.
Well, guess
guiding Westchester to the playoffs in year number 2.
Sorry, David. Guess who just returned for Sioux Falls and just missed that rare bunny underneath? Dropped home. I asked Allen earlier this season, I believe you were there, whether he thinks he gets asked about that more or Larry Johnson gets asked more about his legendary 4-point play against the Pacers. It came at Madison Square Garden. Mine was in Miami. I thought it was interesting. Whether he thinks he gets asked about that more or Larry Johnson gets asked more about his legendary 4-point play against the Pacers. It came at Madison Square Garden. Mine was in Miami. I thought it was interesting. Do it at the Garden, it gets blown up even more. Here's Fredette double teamed in trouble.
Well, here at the Westchester County Center, the Knicks playing on a former Madison Square Garden floor. Capers missing a layup inside. Time dwindling for the home Knicks.
Falls. Plenty of ability and, more importantly, plenty of time to be patient. But they're down to 2.
Liggins beats the buzzer.
Wasn't sure if he knew it. Wanted a foul, did Liggins.
Baczynski the rebound. Here's Fredette. Still time for the Knicks.
There is still time for the Knicks.
Inside look. Baczynski thumps it with the right hand.
Jordan's had a solid game. 16 points, 5 weeks. Rodney Magruder is one of the great 3-point shooters in the D-League. Having departed several weeks back, but still, it just goes to show you how much depth and how much talent is on this Sioux Falls team that they've rolled on nevertheless.
Knicks with 1 timeout left, Sioux Falls with 2. Fredette in a crowd, misses badly. Baczynski on the offensive glass draws the foul.
Fredette continues to be.
Falls will head back to South Dakota with the mission to just win 1 of 2. As Dan Craig, three-time D-League Coach of the Month, looks to propel his club into the Eastern Conference Finals.
And Dan Craig, the reigning Coach of the Month for March. And the tip there will not count for Antetokounmpo, as it's called a goaltend, offensively. Somewhat intended. Against the other three playoff teams in the East was 8-6.
Leaning in for a missed shot, followed up by Stokes, who just outmuscles everybody for the loose ball.
28 points, 10 boards. About the only suspense at this point is will Stokes match or perhaps surpass his season high, which is 29.
14th double-double of the season for Jarnell Stokes, who began the year with the Miami Heat, played a number of games with Sioux Force, will improve to 25-4 with Jarnell Stokes in the lineup. Final minute of play, one on the timer. Boo Boo Paulo rims in and out. The Knicks made a couple attempts at a comeback. They just could not trim it to single digits. And every time Westchester grouped a couple of baskets together, Sioux Falls has had the answer.